Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this evening for Stonewall Democrats and on behalf of the Alabama Forum pertaining to the trans man. My name is Mallory Jenna Robinson. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I will be leading this discussion. We have an incredible list of panelists that are going to be speaking. As a native of Alabama, a trans youth myself, beginning my journey in 2006, I felt this was very pertinent for community leaders alike who are also from Alabama and throughout the South, as this has impacted each and every one of us in some form or fashion, to share their own truth and their own experience this evening. So we have several incredible guests who are going to be talking about their own experience pertaining the ban that is trying to be put into place in Alabama, and we're going to give you a little bit of history of that ban and also the progression of it here today. So we will talk a little bit about Stonewall, and then we will also introduce each and every one of the panelists. Perfect. And so, what we're going to go ahead and get ready to do is, I want to share with each and every one of you the incredible statement about Stonewall itself, and just to give you an idea of the history. Since our founding in LA in 1975, Stonewall Democrat Club has been the home for progressive Democrats who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and straight allies of the LGBTQIA plus community. The first LGBTQ Democratic Club in the nation was established for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender individuals and straight allies, committed to achieving equality for all and to advancing progressive and feminist values through the Democratic Party. At all levels of the political process, local, state, and federal. SDC is an all volunteer grassroots nonprofit political organization and is among the largest Democratic clubs in California. So, again, let's go over to our incredible panelists. I just also want to thank Stonewall. Perfect. And what I want to do also is just take a moment and say again, thank you, Stonewall, for providing this space for this venue today. So, without further ado, I will introduce you to my incredible sisters from the South. First and foremost is Miss Cadence Rose King from North Carolina, but now lives in LA. Cadence, would you like to say hi?
Yes, hi everyone. How are everyone doing? I'm so grateful to be here, being part of the panelists. I want to say I'm so happy to be part, and thank you, my beautiful sister Mallory, for having me. I'm so happy, to be a part and just share my experience, because I'm a native, Southern native. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm so happy to be here and to see everyone.
Thank you, sisters, so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you. And now over to my other sister. She is from Alabama, Sweet Home, Alabama, and her name is Miss Daroneshia Duncan-Boyd. How are you, my beautiful sister? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Daroneshia Duncan-Boyd, Birmingham, Alabama, the founder and executive director of Take Resource Center. Take stands for Transgender Advocates Knowledgeable Empowering. And I'm just so excited to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being here, my beautiful sister. I appreciate you so much for representing from Birmingham, Alabama, and the Take organization does incredible work, and we appreciate you for all the work that you do, each and every one of you out there with Take. And our last panelist member is going to be my other sister from the South. Now, she is a little bit southern of Birmingham in the city of Mobile. And so, Dee, as she's affectionately known, is one of my definitely dear sisters. I've known her since 2011. So, welcome, Dee. Thank you for being here.
I'm how y'all doing? I'm glad to definitely be here. No matter a long time no see, long time no see. I am from Mobile. I met her when I was living in Montgomery, and I've also lived in Auburn, but I'm still And I always make my way back home. But glad to see y'all. Daronesha, heard so much about you. Glad to see you. My other sister from North Carolina. So glad to see y'all. I'm so glad to be working with y'all today.
Thank you, sister. And then I do also have another one of my incredible sisters from the South as well, Miss Miliana, aka Lana Patel. She has got her start in Florida, but then also did reside in Alabama for some time. So she can definitely share some experiences on her time there before coming over to California. Lana, welcome, sister.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. And sister, thank you so much for having me. I'm on my way back home, so I'll be on camera soon. But it is a pleasure and an honor to be in community and amongst you all, you amazing, beautiful Black trans women and femmes. I resided in both Montgomery and Birmingham at certain points of my transition. So it's definitely an honor to be in this space. And thank you so much, Sister Mallery.
Thank you, my beautiful sister. And please drive carefully and get settled in. We appreciate you for being here so much. And again, all of you, thank you, my beautiful sisters. You all are showing up, and just we're going to talk about this. You know, this just really pulled at my heart, you know, sisters, because I felt like the things that Governor Kay Ivey specifically was doing out there in Alabama was just is horrible. And a lot of us began our journeys as trans youth. And so to know that this is, you know, something that is going into effect and also affecting our future generations, I thought that this would be the perfect time for us to talk and then even think about at the end of the conversations a call to action on what we hear, you know, now that I'm in California, and we also have some other Southern sisters here too. How can we make sure that we're doing the work and supporting you all back in Alabama? But what I want to do first is talk a little bit about the policy itself, and then we'll get into asking some specific questions to each and every one of the panelists. So this ban, this trans ban that I have been talking about, I'm going to give you a little bit more specifics, my audience. So this is the Alabama HB 391 signed into law by Governor Kay Ivey. This began around 2021, and the ban focuses on targeting student athletes from competing in sports. So that's the first piece of the ban. It comes in different pieces. The second piece that is to this ban was Alabama HB 322. And what this law does, it bans K through 12 students from using bathrooms and school facilities consistent with their gender identity, and bans conversations about sexual orientation and gender identity in classrooms for grades K through 5. This is, again, you know, impacts each and every one of our youth. And the last piece of this is going to be that Alabama HB 184. This is going to make it a felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison to if any provider provides gender affirming care to anyone under the age of 19. So this is the information that we have been dealing with now since April of 2021 when this ban first began. It has began to just kind of cascade into a series of legislative moves that have now led to also lawmakers and also lawyers out there fighting back. So we do have some people out there in Alabama and beyond fighting to assure that not all of this ban goes into place, if not eliminating all of it. But what I want to do now is shift gears over to our lovely, incredible panelists and start with our sister Kadence. Now, Kadence, I know that you are coming from North Carolina, but I definitely hearing this ban, what I shared earlier, I want to know, how does this make you feel as a trans resident, especially during your time in North Carolina?
I just feel, just to me, listening, when I did my research on the bands and stuff, and it had all these, parts to it, it took me back, it took me back that took me back. I felt like I was it took me back to my dysphoria, all over again. Being in the South, it's like you can't win from losing. That's the feeling I got. And I feel like I could still remember how I felt. It's like I can't do anything. It's like, how can someone best support me? How can I transition? Because it was very difficult, and hearing all these bands now, I feel like we are not moving forward. Like, we're going backwards. Like, because I still remember the bands that they have 10 years ago in North Carolina with the bathroom law. The bathroom law was the first bill in North Carolina 10 years ago. And this when I was just figuring things out, trying to navigate, like, how can I do X, Y, and Z, and then you have all these bans and laws. It's like, I feel like the South is just set up, against us, and it's just so, I feel like hearing it now, hearing these laws now, 10 years later, I feel like we haven't made any kind of progress at all. And it's very sad and unfortunate, and it's very depressing. And, looking back now, I was very young then, trying my hardest to transition, but it's like you can't win from failing, and it's very sad. I'm hearing all of this, and I watched a lot of videos. I feel very bad for the youth there that's living there, because I heard about all the bans, and I was like, my mouth was open. The 10-year sentences, it said it's a felony charge, like for a medical provider, a teacher, a doctor, trying to, help a gender affirming child, to all they want to do is just be themselves, and it's very sad, And another thing, what I learned from the band is, if a person of authority figure, they have to release this information if a child that's identifies LGBTQ, especially of trans. And I'm like, are you serious? This is crazy, you know it's like I would never thought of something like this. Like, withholding information is a crime as well, and I feel like they probably might add on more to this, And this just started in April, and like the progression now is very disturbing.
Thank you, sister, so much. Absolutely, for that feedback. And we're going to shift gears over now. Sister Daroneshia, same question. How does this make you feel as a trans resident of Alabama specifically? You've been there doing the groundwork, tape, hearing about this, what Governor KIV is trying to do. How does this all make you feel, sister?
It's discouraging, but I tell people I didn't expect anything more, if that kind of makes sense. Born and raised here in Birmingham, Alabama, transitioned over 20 plus years ago when it wasn't a doctor in Birmingham, Alabama that will actually provide you any type of gender affirming services. You wasn't able to go to the endocrinologist, even much at UAB Hospital, to get hormone replacement therapy. They didn't necessarily see trans patients during that time. And I tried a couple times back in the days to get hormone replacement therapy from UAB, and schedule appointments and all that stuff. And then once I had the conversation with the receptionist on the phone, they was like, we don't provide that type of service to, transgender individuals. So it's not, it's disheartening, but it's not hard to believe, if that kind of makes sense. And just knowing the day and time as we continue to live in Alabama as a red state, as a state that's in the Bible Belt, that is a lot of Angelica Christians here, as a state that deals with a lot of racism, that anything that basically governs our body anatomy, they want full control of it. And that's the reason why I'm kind of struggling with the people in the reproductive justice movement. Like, this should be a collaborative effort together, because this still comes down to body anatomy, So if you don't want them to stop you from getting abortions, like why is it okay for them to control us if we decide to transition medically? So it's like it's a even fight, but I guess it's not read as that. So that's why both of us end up losing in the end, because it wasn't enough people on both sides to basically state the case and to advocate for our existence as trans individuals. But as I continue to do the work in Alabama here, that I want to build this strong enough base where people will not only know their rights, but what the civic engagement really looks like. Are our people getting out to the polls to vote? What are our people doing? And just challenging our folks to do more and to understand just because they are our skin folks don't mean they are our kin folks, but also that, the white is after us, and when we think about that and how we show up, it's very, disheartening. It's challenging, but we'll get through it.
Thank you, my sister. I love that message of hope. We will get through it. And speaking of getting through it, we're going to shift gears over to Miss DeAnna. Sister, how about you? Going back to you as well. When we think of Alabama, you've been in Alabama as well, hearing about what Governor KIV is trying to do and put into place. How does this make you feel as a trans resident of Alabama? Uh-oh, sister, I think we still got you muted, Love Bug.
Yep, I was. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I got you, Steve.
All right. Yeah, it makes me as transgender, it makes me feel left out. Real left out. For one, real left out. And for two, it makes you feel like they don't like as if you don't belong. Alienated, you don't belong, left out. And most of all, it just makes you feel unwelcome. Like it's just like I said, it ties back to not belonging. When KI and all of them do things like that, it makes you feel like, why, like, we don't want you here, you don't belong. And most of all, it all ties all into one of just being controlled. Daroneshia, our other sister Kadence, I think this time I keep forgetting her name. But yeah, Kadence and Daroneshia said it ties back into that too. It just makes you feel like you're being controlled and you can't be who you feel you are. And that's something that I deal with myself. And it becomes a little bit depressing sometimes because it's like, if I could go back to be what I was born, if I could be good at that and be who I was born to be, I would. But this is who I am. This is who I feel I am, and I can't change that. So that I just got to accept that. I want you to just love who I love. Love me for who I am. And in Alabama, it's like you're gonna be who we say you are, and it's that makes you feel like you're just unwelcome and don't belong. You feel controlled, unwelcome, and like you just don't belong to me. So that's how it makes me feel. So I'm pretty sure a lot of other people in Alabama feel the same way.
Thank you, sister, for sharing, and I appreciate that. And it is true. I feel that same way as well, which is one of the reasons why I moved away from there, because it was hard, to feel welcome there. So I completely empathize with every statement that I've heard. I wanted to shift gears over to our sister Lana. Hopefully things are getting settled in. And if you have time, I know you lived in Alabama for some time too, my beautiful sister. I wanted to take a moment and ask you, hearing about what happened with the ban that Governor KIV is putting into place and trying to put into place. How does this make you feel as a previous resident of Alabama?
Thank you. I just got here, so be on soon.
No worries, take
But
your time.
can you hear me?
Perfect. I can hear you perfectly, sister.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to connect my headphones. Let's see. Okay, hello?
Perfect. We got you. Can hear you crystal clear.
Okay, I don't think it's coming through the headphones. Okay, give me 1 sec. Let me get inside.
Oh, okay. No worries, sister. We'll come back to you. Thank you so much. And then what we can go back over to is addressing the next question to Kadence. Do you know anyone who directly would be harmed by these policies?
Definitely the youth. These policies are are directed to the youth because the youth are our future, and it's very sad. It's like they're growing. They're growing. They're trying to identify themselves. They they just in their truth. They live in their truth. This is their first few steps. In life. From K to 12. Just discovering who they are and reaching out to authority figures. That's the first thing you do as a child. I feel like this law just shut them down right then and there. And I feel like it's very dangerous because in our society, especially the youth, um, they feel all kinds of dysphoria, and also this will lead to feeling suicidal ideations, and a lot of the times some of their parents reject them. So that's very commonplace in our communities. So that's one thing I can talk about, because my mom, when I came out to her, and living in the South, that's was a trans was not really a thing. It was like you was some kind of abomination. You have to get out. And it's very sad. Because when I was a youth, I always told myself, expect the worst. And prepare for the worst, and hope for the best. Because that's how it is. Be prepared to get kicked out, and now it's being prepared for people to get put in jail, apparently. So it's very sad, how things are getting set up now. It's set up for failure, and then put in a felony charge on it. So I feel like they're trying to seal the deal, not having everything against us instead of working for us.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, Sister Cadence, for that. And it is when we think about just the trauma that we continue to live through, it is heartbreaking. And those K through 12 youth are for sure going to be affected by that. Sister D, I wanted to ask you specifically about the bill. When it comes to the first part that I read about, where it was the Alabama HB 391, and this one was about where they're going to try to ban student athletes from competing in sports. When we think about, we done been in high school and stuff like that. And I remember as a trans youth wanting to feel like I could get into certain activities and stuff. How do you feel about that when we think about the youth in there, in schools, and wanting to be part of sport activities and this ban affecting them? And then we got you muted too, just in case.
Okay. Now this is not, that one is kind of controversial for me. It's really controversial for me. I won't say that I agree with the ban at all, but at the same time, I guess it's just case by case to me. And I'm just saying, for me, by all means, I'm transgender, and I'm all for transgender youth. I have a daughter that's 18. She's up in the 11th grade, but she goes out to the club. She wants to be a woman, and she pushes to identify a woman regardless. She hates her boy name, all of that. I met her when I was working at Taco Bell. She's 17, and now she's 18, and she just, if she wanted to do sports, like I said, it depends on case by case. It's case by case. Now, of course, because she's a bigger girl. She's a bigger girl. So, of course, if she wanted to play tennis or something like that, girl, by all means, play tennis. As a woman, go out there and play tennis. You can do this. You know what I'm saying? Run track, volleyball, maybe. I'm kind of iffy about that, and that's why I'm saying it's kind of controversial for me. We are women, and as women, we got be women, but at the same time, I'm kind of controversial when it comes to the sports thing. As a youth anyway. So like I said, by all means, play tennis, girl. Play tennis. Pool, track, of that nature. But when it comes to force, it's all case by case to me. It's all about, you know, um, To me, at the end of the day, whatever the baby wants to be, identify them as who they are. Identity is one thing. Recognizing them and respecting them is a whole nother. But the main important thing is, not to make anybody feel marginalized, but take it case by case, depending on the sport. That's the way I see it. That's just my take on it.
Thank you, sister. And again, everyone has their own views about the ban and how they feel about that. But what I wanted to do is shift over to the gender journey, and specifically Daroneshia. When we think about navigating your gender journey in Alabama, how and again, you have this incredible plethora of experience over 20 years. What has that been like for you? If you're comfortable sharing, what kind of judgment pressures were you subjected to when navigating your journey? And again, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah. I have to say the gender journey for me have been it haven't been hard. I must say it haven't been hard. And I think it was more easy for me because I had come from a accepting family. My mother and my father both knew who I was, at a young age early on. They probably didn't know the terminology or what was destined to happen to me and who I was going to be. But they knew that, hey, my baby is different and I'm going to love on my baby. I'm going to wrap my arms around my baby and I'm going to take my baby everywhere I go. And this is just my special baby, And then about time I graduate, like soon as I got out of high school, I started the process to transition. And I was lucky enough to have a chosen family that really loved and cared about me also. Coming from a legendary house of stars with my grandmother, Yasmin Campbell Star, my mother, Coco Chanel Star, which these are two fabulous women of trans experience. And they are dedicated to you getting the best out of your experience and, you choosing the right path, but pouring you in the ways that you're going to be able to get the things that you need in order to be successful along your gender journey and what that look like. And, like I said, bought plenty hormones from black market pharmacy and all that stuff or whatever in-house pharmacy. And just basically just did what I had to do, to survive, and went through all the channels of the stereotypes, the statistics, what they say about us from, sex work to substance abuse, mental illness, like you name it, that have been a part of my journey, but that doesn't define the end product of who Daroneshia Janae Duncan-Boyd is, the one that the world know now, where I was only locally known in Alabama and just, experiencing the things that the girls did, and just being honest. So I'm grateful for that journey, because my gender journey, what I considered my mess, is now my powerful message today. And it keeps me doing the work even better. And it makes me pour into this community so much that sometimes not sometimes, but most of the time, I'm selfless. I have countless hours of sleep. Like I have been here in this office ever since early, this morning or whatever, and I'm still here, because I wanted to commit to doing this instead of going home, and getting in my bed, because I knew I had a message for somewhere, somebody somewhere out there in the world.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you so much. And I just wanted to ask you a couple of more things. What is that message that you have for the world? And then how did you develop and find your chosen family?
Yes. So the message that I have for the world is just simply take your time. This is not a microwave process, and define whatever your transness look like. Because I tell people over and over, we were brought in this world black. So we were black first, but we navigated through our trans identity. And our trans identity don't define who we are truly, because behind this transness, there's a brilliant woman, Black, strong, intelligent, selfless, devoted, you name it. It's so many things that comes along with Daroneshia as a whole. And with finding that chosen family, it's crazy. I just end up in the club, just turned 18 years old, running into this beautiful woman, this amazing woman that I was having a conversation with, thought it was a cisgender woman, which was my alternative mother, Coco Chanel Star, just fabulous, Barbie all day, just talking to her, thought I had hooked up with a good girlfriend, went over to her house, just kind of trying to lay my problems on the land with her, just telling her how I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, feeling trapped in this body. Like, no, I know it's something else out there for me. And I want to like be this girl. I want to be that girl. Like, this is who I see for myself, and she just, kind of looked at me and she had like this smirk on her face and she was like, child, I know what that means. I've been down that road before. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, baby, hold on. What's going on? And so we continued in our conversation. And then once I left there, I immediately called my mama and was like, oh my God, Mom, you won't believe that I met this person. So this is not just no Jerry Springer type stuff or no Murray type stuff, because that's what I was exposed to. Trans it on there. Is it a woman or is it a man? They didn't talk about trans, So I told my mama, this is not no Jerry Springer type stuff. It's actually a woman here in Birmingham, Alabama. She's absolutely beautiful, and I got to be like her. And then I met the rest of my family. So it was just a moment of just awakening, joy, love, just to know that it's another person here in Alabama that's just like me, that have traveled down that road. And then, honey, once I got, more into the lifestyle, got to meet the rest of the family, I was like, hell, baby, it's more women like me in this. Like, hold on now, baby, am I going crazy? Like, where did, because I felt like I was sheltered. Like, I didn't, trans women wasn't in my hood. I grew up, in the projects or whatever. And then I knew my sister best friend was trans or whatever, but they didn't call her trans. I knew she was beautiful. She was like a woman. Mama let her in the house when we was like, I think I was at least 14 or 15, but I just used to hear them saying, oh, that used to be a man, that used to be a man. And I was thinking like, oh, these people are crazy, because I didn't think that trans folks actually live on earth. Like, I didn't know where I thought trans folks were. So it was just like an awakening. And even though they told me that like my sister's best friend was biological born male, I never questioned her about it. I never asked her about it. It was just like, this is my home girl. And we just, went on and like hung out with each other. But about time I got like to 18, 17 years old, she was kind of like trying to show me the ropes and kind of trying to tell me different things or whatever. I'm like, girl, you are, oh, they must was telling the truth about you because you tried to guide me, So it was a good experience or whatever. And so I'm grateful that I had the honor to be in a place of power because we lost her a couple years ago. So I was able to, my organization was able to put her away very, beautiful, a nice funeral, nice repast and all that stuff. So that was my token of love to her because, of course, she tried to show me at a young age what it means to be a woman, because she said, girl, I ain't no trans, I'm a woman.
Oh, sister, I love that. That's beautiful about the chosen family and connecting with them, especially at the age of 18. I mean, that is just such a beautiful journey from then to now, and that love is still there. So thank you for sharing so much of that with us. Sister Lana, looks like you're able to join us looking amazing. Thank you for being here. Happy that you were able to get into home safely. But I wanted to ask you a question as well. Again, you were a former resident of Alabama. You began your journey as a trans youth as well. What message do you have for the youth, within the South, right? Because Alabama is being affected, Texas, Tennessee, and some other places. Do you have a message for any of those youth right now that is experiencing this ban?
Yeah, my message for those youth are keep your head up, be vigilant, stay educated, inform yourself on politics, on policies, on who are the allies in the room, who are the lawmakers that we need to work with, um, what are the parties in place that you can affiliate yourself with to create a coalition. I think this is an ongoing fight, and I don't think this is the end, but I think that this is actually the start of a revolution. 1969 is when Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera fought back and said, no, we're done. We're no longer going to allow you to oppress us. And we now have the LGBTQ community all these years later. We just celebrated Mother Marsha on the 24th of August for her birthday. And so for me, the message is to embolden those youth and to know that anything is possible. I am someone who navigated transition at a very early age, taking black market hormones, self-medicating in Florida, Central Florida. Also went to 3 different providers looking for help. No one would help me. And I had to take matters into my own hands. And I fear that this might be the trajectory for a lot of trans youth. I hope that it's not their journey. There are alternatives. But yeah, my message is just stay strong, stay educated, find community. Like light will always prevail.
And that's beautiful, sister. I just wanted to say thank you for that beautiful message about finding community. And that's how you all became my sisters, is by just connecting and finding you all and just building this bond that has just cultivated for many years. So I thank you for being able to give that message of love and hope to our youth. And I also wanted to take a moment to open this up to everyone else, all my other sisters. Have a little family reunion. Hey, yes, there we go. I wanted to just give each and every one of you a moment as well to also give a message to the youth as well regarding this ban from not only in the state of Alabama, but then also the other states that this is affecting. Do we have anyone who would like to start first? Let's see. Sister Daroneshia, we'll start with you, Love Bug.
Oh, I knew that you was gonna pick on me. I would like to think of it. The youth. Like I said, just don't give up. Always keep your head up. Trust the process. And the days ahead of us may seem long, but I promise you that, the longer you live, the older you'll get. And you'll know that this is nothing new. People have been fighting, like Lana just said, that this has been happening over 50 plus years. And I'm sure before the 50 plus years, it was happening then. And just to know that our rights have always been under attack and folks have always tried to take them from us. So let's just keep our heads up and keep looking to the sky, because there is hope.
I love that, sister. Thank you. Keep looking up, and there is hope. What about you, Sister D? How about you? What message do you have for our incredible youth?
I want to tell them what I wish someone had told me when I was young, in high school, and I felt it coming on, but I was so scared and didn't know which direction to go in. And this guy told me when I was in high school, he's like, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I was this little fella I knew, but he was like, when you graduate high school, you're gonna be something else. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, when you leave high school, you're gonna come full out woman. And I said, I don't think that'll happen. But sure enough, within a year after we got out of high school, I've been transitioning since then. And what I wish someone would have told me at that time was, be the best version of you. Be you, unapologetically. To just be you, what you feel, be that, don't be afraid to be you. Don't apologize for being you, and be shameless. That's who you are, and live in your truth. Be you, and love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, then you can't expect anybody else to love and respect that you feel you are. So be you. Be like regardless of to what you want to be, regardless of what you want to do. Being is not just a condition; it's a state. You have to be you, like just be. Don't just exist. Don't just live. Be you, unapologetically. Stand out. Do you at the best of you that you can do. And that's what I wish someone had told me at an earlier age. Was just be you. Be yourself, baby. Just be.
Love that. Continue to be yourself. And speaking of being you, how about you, Sister Cadence over there? What message would you have for our incredible trans youth in the South and even throughout the world?
I would say for the trans youth in the South and for the youth all over this beautiful globe, I'm going to let you know it's okay. It's okay to let you know it's okay to be afraid. It's okay. This too shall pass. And also don't wait. Don't wait. Just don't wait on this bill to resolve. Keep being you and do what you have to do. Make a timeline, for yourself, in your gender journey. Take it, a step at a time, baby steps, and don't to wait for this ban to be lifted or to be removed. Do what you can, and also, I want to tell you, find people that celebrate you, of who you are, and find and build your own chosen family. And y'all can help out each other, and you can be more resilient and that reciprocity, y'all can build, help each other out. And I also would say, don't keep continue to live in the South. There's more to the world than the South. Because I used to, in the South, for me, I felt like when I moved out, I felt like I was living under a rock. Because there was no other trans person where I was from. I just saw the girls on online, on Facebook, on in different groups, on YouTube. I will follow their journey, and then some of them they would stop, displaying their journey. So I always felt like, when is going to be my time? When I was you, when is going to be my time? And the time is now.
That is right. That the time is now. Thank you, Sister Cadence, for that, McKay. And then what I want to do now is shift gears and have everyone, and we'll start with Sister Lana. I want to ask you all regarding a call to action. We started off the conversation about really wanting to see what we not only could the incredible organization Stonewall do to support, but then also what can other organizations here in California and throughout the U.S. do as a call to action to support organizations in the work that you all are doing. Lana, we'll start with you, sister.
Sure. I am a firm believer of actionable change, putting money where your mouth is, and creating the change that you want to see in the world. And so I believe in grassroots work, but also like fundraising, getting the word out, creating campaigns, um, petitions, showing that there are people in the state of Alabama and there are people nationwide that truly believe in having a space of liberation, having equitable healthcare, having access for our trans youth. And that needs to be shown, right? That needs to be something that should be presented to lawmakers within the state. I think building coalitions, coming together, creating safe spaces for these trans youth during this time, even if they can't necessarily provide hormone care or gender affirming medical care, creating safe spaces for support groups, for peer facilitated groups, for therapists, so that these youth don't feel so alone. I think the biggest call to action will be to educate everyone on what is happening and how they can fight back. And a lot of times it's hitting them in their pockets, but it's also showing up and finding an ally in the room. A lot of these bills that get passed aren't a unanimous board decision. Sometimes there are people in the room who have rejected these things, and so we need to find out who voted no, how to work with these people, how to build community coalitions, and what can we do, what can be done next, how can we repeal these things. So it's all about unity and community and education.
Yes, come on, unity and community. Love that. And is there an organization, sister, that you feel like that could be supporting with the work, or is there an organization that kind of that you feel like that could utilize some support, really needs some support right now that comes to mind when we think of just being able to put that money where our mouth is?
I don't know if Alabama organizations, but Stonewall, Democrats, Lavender Clubs. We think of Black organizations. I think of Oprah Project. I think of House of Tulips. I think of the Unique Women's Coalition. I think of like all these Black trans-led organizations that are doing the work. I think we need to funnel back into that community. We need to uplift our community. And yeah, we need to just love on each other.
Agreed, sister. Absolutely. Let's continue to love on each other and put our money where our mouth is. And I will turn it over to Sister D. I wanted to ask you as well, how can we, in the world, right, everyone, come to a call to action? What do you feel like needs to be done to make sure that the change is going to happen?
Partnership. It takes partnership. That's what it's gonna take. Um, good sisters sticking together. All just hand in hand, hand in hand. Alabama really is one of the more complicated, states to get on board. They're always last to kind of do it. They either deal, but Florida always last to do something. But when it comes to getting them to conform, this is a more like this religious state, and they're kind of rebellious when it comes to some of the stuff that America's trying to do to and free for all. Alabama's kind of behind on that. So what it's going to take is sisterhood, our sisters sticking together, partnership, everybody coming together. When people like Daroneshia and all of them are out there, pushing for resources, and they're pushing, advocating for the sisters. We're going to need other sisters that got that pull to come and say, "Girl, I got you. Let me help you. What do you need? Let me help you, sister. We're over here in New Orleans. Because I hear New Orleans is doing. They're coming over here in New Orleans, girl, and we're doing the thing. Let me help my sister in Alabama. What do you need, sister?" Just that sisterhood, that partnership is what it's going to take.
Thank you so much. I love that sisterhood and partnership, and this is exactly what this space is about. Do you have a partner that you're interested in right now? Is there like a partnership that you think of that that we can support with, that you have in mind, that you think of?
Not off the in Mobile. I'm right in Mobile, so I really like I said, I heard a lot about Daroneshia, so I had time to reach out to her about some things. But in Mobile directly, I know we have like a trans pride group, and we also have the Mobile Pride team that are really trying. They're trying their hardest to link up with resources and ways of helping younger transgender, those identifying as transgenders, finding themselves to transition, and also for us that have been in it for a while, trying to help us get the things that we need to properly transition. They're really trying their best to find the resources and links to link everybody up to. I know because I reached out to them time to myself, and they try to reach out and say, hey, well, look, I think I know that this person here, they're referring to other people, so I know for sure. I have to get the direct name. I'll look and find it in a minute, but I got to get the direct name of what the transgender group here in Mobile is. But I do know that Mobile Pride is definitely trying their best as well, and they all need the help.
Thank you. And that definitely, please get that information over to me. Same for you, Lana. So that way we can definitely reach out to those organizations and establish those partnerships. So Daroneshia, we have not forgotten about you, Love Bug. We're going to shift gears over very quickly, and we're going to save you to wrap us up with that call to action, especially with the Take organization. As the executive director of that, you definitely have a voice for that. But I want to shift gears just very moment, terribly to Kadence. Hey, sister, and I want to ask you as well. You've been from North Carolina. You have overcome so much, and thank you for being here. But in your opinion, what do you believe would be a good call to action? What organizations and partnerships that you know of, maybe in North Carolina or here in California, that you feel like definitely could use that support as well?
I would like to disclose that I work at the Trans Wellness Center, which is the first of this nation. So I am one of the case workers there. So I get calls all over the globe, and the thing is, I wish I could help everybody, that gives, we get all calls all over the world, and I just wish I could help everybody. But what is sad and unfortunate, you have to be in LA County, to receive services. So that's something that is sad and unfortunate. But I feel like if we got more donations, more support, maybe we can reach all over, the globe. That's one thing that we could do. And also, I would like to piggyback on what was said. To me, it is all, at the end of the day, it is all about sisterhood. It's all about. I always would say this. I believe what Maya Angelou said: be a rainbow in your sister cloud. That's what she always said, and it always will resonate with me. Because this world is not set up for us. It's set up. It's all set up against us. And other countries are even worse. And what I found that was how the girls survive in other countries is all about sisterhood, being there for each other, and supporting her. And she can support you, treat her as, she's your biological sister, it's all about that reciprocity, and with, I feel like it would take, you can just form a team of strong, as resilient women, and and when silly bills like this and laws like this too shall not pass, you will not break me. So I feel as though it's just, you won't get far in life doing your sister wrong. I feel like you doing yourself wrong at the end of the day, and I feel like you giving yourself a big disservice. Not helping your sister out. It's always, it's about teamwork. And help each other out.
Yeah, and that's the important thing too, is to remember that it is teamwork and helping out your sisters. And that has been the message that I have heard from all of you. And we're gonna be getting ready to shift gears over to Daroneshia and hearing about the incredible work that Take does, based out of Birmingham, Alabama, and again, how that support can be done. But again, I just wanted to say again, thank you, Kadence, for taking the moment to just really share your opinion on what that call to action can look like, and then also highlighting the Trans Wellness Center. And now we're going to conclude with our lovely, beautiful sister with expertise like no other. Sister, what is the call to action? Tell us about Take, how we can support. Girl, tell us all about it. Sister, we got you muted.
Yeah, so it's two things here when I think about the call to action. I think about intentionality first, and the second thing will be investment. Like, people are oftentimes talking about they want to be in these relationships and build out these coalitions and trying to see how they could support the work, but a lot of times they lack the intentionality, and they don't know what it really means to be, in community. And then second, they want to, give you, these little seed dollars, like program, not even much program startup dollars, like, and just be like a love offer of charity. $2,500, $5,000. That's not no money, especially when you're running, an organization, building out programs, got to have staff, got to have overhead, got to make sure that you have food and just different things that's within the organization infrastructure to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our community members. And where Take is a holistic drop-in resource center that we does all type of things, from having the Tees Boutique, which is a clothing closet where you can go in and get mock interview clothes, or you just need toiletry, personal hygiene stuff, household goods, and things like that. You can get it out of the Tees Boutique. Also, we just have basic psychosocial groups every day, just peer support groups, being in community with one another. On Wednesdays, we have a licensed therapist that come in and kind of support us with Unpacking Wednesdays and having those type of hard conversations. Also, we do our empowerment and educational retreats, where we take our community members on these retreats to these beautiful Airbnbs, these nice getaways, and just teach them about self-love, self-esteem building, just centering yourself and why self-care is important. And also we offer our empowering cishood retreats, which is called Redefining Cishood, where we basically bridge the gaps between Black cisgender women and trans women to help start the conversation and basically just try to work through some of the trauma that we both have maybe inflicted on one another. Take work is work that's happening throughout Alabama. We get calls from all over. We accept people in our crisis housing program, the Gloria Safe Haven, that house Black trans women there. Basically to kind of get them safe, get them off the streets, and try to get them set up for some type of permanent supportive housing or rapid rehousing. So it's so many things that Take is doing, and people can get involved by simply going to, Take BHM, learning about the programs that we're doing here. We also are devoted to Black trans leadership, where I created the Monica Roberts Freedom School, where the Monica Roberts Freedom School offers organizational development and individual leadership development to help shape our Black trans folks and help them define what their leadership look like, because not all times that nonprofit is always the go-to. What about the for-profit work that we can be doing to give our people opportunities and to get skills and customer service and you name it, that we can really build out a solid base while people can know where they basically lie at once it comes to this type of work, because everybody's not meant to be a leader. Everybody is not going to always advocate. So what can we do with the skills that you have to make sure that you're successful and to help other people out? So this is the third year for the Monica Roberts Freedom School. We're letting in 23 student leaders this year with this class that's coming in this October. But I'm super excited for all the many things that Take has that's going to happen in the future, because I see it. I talk about a lot of times seeing it before you receive it, and Take have been on the grounds fighting for a long time. Take was founded 9 years ago in April, so Take will take 10 April of 2023. So I'm super excited about that. So we're going to do a big fundraiser and a campaign around trying to raise $100,000, from people that really believe in the work that's happening in Birmingham, Alabama, but also just being able to just take this thing to a whole nother level, because I heard one of the people, one of the panelists on the call talk about how moving away from the South, but we want to remove away from that stigma there, because the South deserves greatness. The South deserves to be a home, because the South is affordable. And it's a lot of Southern hospitality, and I'm telling you, it's all what you make out of it. And I love Birmingham, Alabama, and I won't trade it for the world. People keep trying to call me from all around the world to give me a job, offer me a salary, and all that stuff. But I'm staying here right in Birmingham, Alabama, because I have been able to break these barriers and set these standards and hire a lot of trans-identified individuals within my organization.
Thank you, sister. Thank you so much for sharing all this incredible information about Take and the work that you all do. And we are definitely going to do what we can, and especially myself, to make sure, especially as we go into Take 10 in April of 2023, that you can definitely be reaching that goal of $100,000 and make sure that this work becomes even more expansive. And I just want to thank you all, my sisters, so much for taking time out of your day. The work that you all do, the way that you do your work, it means a lot to me. It's how I connected with you all. I see you, I celebrate you, and I wanted you all to know that your voice is valuable. And I just also wanted to conclude with a little bit of an update on the trans ban. So the policymakers, the lawmakers in Alabama specifically, have been successfully able to repeal one part of that ban, which was going to be focused specifically on denying trans youth access to gender affirming health care before the age of 19. They've been successfully able to argue against that, stating that parents and other legal guardians have the right to make the necessary changes in medical decisions for their children. So that has been something that has been put into place to assure that our trans youth can still successfully continue to undergo their gender journeys, especially on a medical path. There's still much more work to be done, as you heard from all of our incredible panelists today, our sister Daroneshia, our sister Lana, our sister Kadence, our sister Dee. Thank you all for being here. This is just the beginning. These conversations will continue. My name is Mallery Jenna Robinson. Thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you next time. And I want to also give a special last minute thanks to our incredible steering committee team who created the graphics, who put together this entire structure using StreamYard. I mean, we could not have done it without you all. This has truly been the definition of #Dream Team. So thank you all again for the work that you do. I want to give a thanks to Alex Mahajer, our Stonewall Democrats president, and so many others who have just lended their support, including Jonathan Welsh and so many others, Marcus Monaker, and also Alex Paris, and including our Kelsey as well with our steering committee. So quite a few individuals that have just contributed to this, and I thank you all personally. So I know everyone has a busy night, and Daroneshia's been in the office, so we won't keep you all much longer, but just thank you all again for the love and support for this forum. And don't forget to tune in on September 11th for the West Hollywood City Council Member Forum. And also check out our website at Stonewall Dems for more details. Thank you all and have a great night. Thank you, sisters.